And you know what it is?
He sent it to me. I didn't quite recognize my answer in the text.
Okay. So go ahead. What's it?
Basically, what came up was, we spent a long time listening to last Sunday's shir, which
right.
was, I think Akiva had asked the question. You had brought examples like Adam Shein Labayas, Adam. So, at least the way I understood the question was, when you explained and you pointed to basically the essential nature of a person versus the real nature of a person. The real is his essential aspect rather than the functional aspect. So he was asking, why is that called tainug? Why is that called tainug? So my answer was that this is the aspect of a person that doesn't require the person's input at all. It's not dependent on anything the person does. It's purely something that the Eibishter, it's like the Eibishter's footprint in the person, what the Eibishter is providing for the person's essence. And anything that tainug means that you're connected to the bigger reality, that it's not coming from you, it's coming from it's real. It's not dependent on you. It's coming from the outside, like you said. Sometimes when a person gets something for free, like he's very happy because it's like it's not dependent on him. He's not creating it. It's coming. So this is the Eibishter's presence in us, literally. This is what I explained to him.
Okay. I just want to add one more notch to this, which is this is a correct answer within a functional arena. When we talk about Oinig here, we have even a deeper explanation to this. Oinig is synonymous with life. And life can only come from the living God. There is no life inherent in the world. This is what we're distinguishing the whole time, the functional aspect. The whole world is so confused in their attempt to identify everything as being part of the functional world. This is cosmic, this is cosmic, this is cosmic. The reason a human being is a human being is because he's trying to save himself from a lion. The whole thing is so perverted. One single reality. But they had to admit that it has to be reality. So the reality is the atom, or the neutron. And they're still looking for the reality. And then the developmental process is so convoluted and so out of whack that this is totally. But they insist on it because there cannot be anything but real. But in the world they're right. In the world there is no reality. So therefore you have to say that there is something prior to world, greater than world. That they don't want to do. Whereas by us, the Rambam states on the onset, right in the onset, before you even begin to think rationally, before you need to think on a chokhmah level, perceptions, conceptions, you should know that as a nefesh, you know that there's a first being. That's part and parcel of being a living entity. Anything else you want to bring up? Because I heard that the discussions were very, very, very good.
It was really nice. I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Did you go to the next sheet, or you only discussed only the
We
subject?
just started that yesterday morning.
Monday?
Yeah, we started Mondays. Did we finish? We went through?
We went through, I think we went through 20 minutes. No, we had 10 minutes left on Mondays.
I myself. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, did you bring up this point that we were disagreeing over?
No, I wanted to wait to see if you were on. Okay, why don't you bring it up?
I don't know if I remember correctly.
Chochma versus Tainug.
What?
Chochma, what's the emphasis? Is it, we were disagreeing on the, what is the Rebbe stressing here? Is the emphasis the Maila of Chochma, that it's able to perceive this Tainug, which is totally beyond? Or is the emphasis that everything is coming from Tainug? And Chochma is the means by which it's drawn down.
We're clearly speaking here mostly about Tainug, and yet you regularly repeat or express the miracle of Chochma.
Right.
That it's and ultimately, I guess I would say, so when we're saying Sur Atzmis, is Tainug, what is Tainug the Sur Atzmis, or is Chochma the Sur Atzmis? Although the Rebbe said they're the same thing. So that's like what you were saying. Which is the emphasis that the Rebbe is asking us to be aware of?
the emphasis that we ought to be aware of, that everyone wants us to be aware of, is on the Chochma. And
I'm sorry, the emphasis is
on Chochma.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chochma is that which we are aware of. I know Oineg is part of the Nefesh. And if we understand and we realize that the essence of the Chochma is the Oineg, that gives us a perspective of what Chochma is. But Oineg itself, we have no access to knowing Oineg in any which way except having it as a living entity, as a nefesh. There's nothing we can say about Oineg beyond saying this is a godly presence. Chochma is very. Chochma is the whole world. Chochma is the whole reality of creation. So it's Breishis Bono Kim is Hashemayim v'Za'oretz. So the Targum Yonason says Breishis b'chuchmasa. Chochma, the world represents Chochma. And the great, as we pointed out, the great revelation of Chochma, so to speak, uniqueness of Chochma, is that it encompasses both Oineg and Morg.
You said many times, I thought, that Chochma is, it's not the life element is not coming from Chochma. The Chochma is basically identifying it and making it available so that it disseminates to all the details. But the real life is the time.
The real life is the Oineg, of course. The real life is the Oineg. But if not for Chochmah,
there would be no.
there would be no life in anything. If not for Chochmah, you would not be aware that there is such thing as an Oinig. This is why I say Chochmah is a unique creation. It's world and super world all in the same moment. This is why he said Chochmah.
And Surah is we're discussing Chochmah, not the Einig which it draws.
Right.
You also said something I don't know if it was discussed yesterday because I didn't listen in, that Einig is the life element in Atzmus. I think I heard something like that. And I was confused. So there's a difference between the life element in Atzmus and Atzmus itself.
All right. So. What is Oinig about, per se? Okay. We said several times over these weeks that in the world, a stone is an atzmi. And this is what actually perceived in the world as being the basic building block of everything. The atom, or whatever it is, the lowest presence. So while there is a certain iota of truth in this statement, as the Alter Rebbe points out, that it is representative of Etzem, because only an Etzem can create such an entity that has no connection to anything but to itself. But on the other hand, it is the furthest thing from Etzem. An Etzem who is not aware of itself is not an Etzem. It stands for nothing. The first thing of the Etzem is that it is truly an Etzem, but it is a true presence. True presence means it is definitely aware of itself. The highest level of awareness of itself is what's called Rotzen and Oinig. As we point out that there's a primary element is everything wants to be what it is, or wants to be. This wanting to be should not be confused with the worldly term want, which is again there's a cause for it, because there's something that I'm missing, some discomfort, which is not a true want. Want is what is this thing stand for? This is, and in this there are two madrigas. There is Rotzen and there is Oinig. The difference between these two is not for now, not for here, but the point is that this is the Oinig and the Rotzen. This is the essential element of an Etzem, of the Etzem. This is what makes it an Etzem. For example, we are saying all the time that a human being is an Atzmi. In relative terms, relative to in the world it's an Atzmi. Like we say, the human being is in the world not on a function level but on a presence level. He brings a reality to the world. And this atzmius of the human being is it can be captured, so to speak, in the fact that that he wants to be a human being. He is a human being not by default, but this is something which he appreciates in the deepest sense, and he has oineg in being that which he is. Listen to the Loshen, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, is when it talks about oineg is a nefesh misaneges mima sheyesh lo oineg. The nefesh is misaneg from that which a nefesh has oineg. In other words, not misaneg from filling some kind of a gap. It is happy to be what it is. Das meint oineg, the true oineg. And we pointed out, why is it so happy to be what it is? What's in that? And the explanation is because in that, what it is, relates it to the Motzei. This gives it. This is the presence, the godly presence in the nefesh. And every time we mention it, we have to go back and remind ourselves when we talk about the godly presence. What's godly presence? Godly presence has no beginning, has no functionality. It's the truth of the truth of what? In our terms, it's the truth of existence, but it's way beyond that. Like we pointed out in that class, in Sunday class, and as Monday, there's also very important things in talking about Chochmah, the Dover Ma. I hope you noticed that. The one thing we pointed out that gives us a little bit of a handle of this Oineg HaNefesh is that the Chochmah, which is reflective of the Oineg, and here we speak in terms of Chochmah because that's how it manifests in the world. And it is reflective of the Oineg, reflective of being a true presence, not within the worldly parameters. There's no worldly explanation for what it represents. For example, and we see this in our functional level, that we said it builds a house. A house has functional elements, but he builds a house way out of the functional elements, totally out of it. A house that is on basis that represents his true meaning of a house, which is beyond functionality totally. It represents, I said, the oires atzmiyim, the atzmiyus is reflected in the Chochmah. Which is totally outside of worldly parameters. Why are you doing this? Because that's what I am, not because there's a necessity in it.
So is there any difference between at all?
Any difference between etzem and oineg? Oineg is a koyach makifi, and etzem is the source of the koyach makifi. Should we speak about makifi for a moment? Says that Chochma is mislabesh b'dover ma. B'dover. There is a something. Even though this something is totally imbued with the mind, with the oimek, with the atzmius. But there is a something. There is some kind of a reference. This is Chochma. This reference provides the Chochmah with a reference point. What are you talking about? Chochmah has a what? What are you saying? Oineg, Makif, does not have a what. Although it is saying, but it is speaking without a what, without a dovama. How can something be without a what? In other words, again, coming from our perspective, everything has a foundation. What is this house built on? It's building on the ground. And we understand how come the house is standing because it has a foundation in the ground. There is something that it is based on. Oineg has no basis. He said, this is what I want. There's no basis. There's no explanation, and doesn't need an explanation. So then, what is it based on, after all? And where is it coming from? It's coming from, and it's based on the atzmius element of the nefesh. Atzmius, again, you have to remember, whatever worldly definition you're going to give it, you're wrong. No such thing as atzmius in world. Atzmi is, by definition, not world. Atzmi is godly. And what's the difference between worldly and godly? Worldly, by definition, means it has a source. Godly has no source. By the way, as we pointed out, this tells us the uniqueness of Chochmah. That Chochmah, although it's a conscious knowledge, it's already part of the Koiches Pnimim, and it is perfectly satisfied in relating, being aware of something, of the Atzmi, that it has no handle for. It has no handle for. And that is what it is seeking. Like the Pikach says, Al Nosiv Malka. And like we're pointing out, that the real effect, power of sight Like you see something unique, something unusual, and you always spoil it, and you go and you talk about it with excitement. The real unique effect of the sight is that which you cannot convey, and cannot experience both when you are connected, when you see it. So if you cannot convey, you cannot grasp it. So how do you relate to it? The answer is, at that moment, you and it are one thing. You're not relating to it as a separate entity. And if you are, then you're not seeing with sight. Like we say, you're seeing with your hands. We say Chokhmah is a uniquely human. But we say sight is a perfect emotion for Chokhmah. But the animal also has sight. So does the animal have Chokhmah? What's the answer? The animal does not see the visible, it sees the tangible. The human being, he is granted this privilege of seeing the visible. No, but not the tangible, just the concept. So this is why Oineg, and this is called Koich Makifim. Koich Makifim is, Koich is I have no kelim. If it has no kelim, what does it stand on? What kind of koich is it? It's a koich represents etz. And this is the unique element of Chokhmah. The Rebbe explains that Chokhmah can take oires atzmiyim of the nefesh and bringing into Pnimi. Oires atzmiyim of the nefesh manifest themselves in koiches makifim, and Chokhmah takes that and makes it Pnimi. Pnimi means it puts it to the cave. And the one thing that we've seen, this is what the Monday class begins with, is Eisa Dover. This is Pnimi. A thing. And this is where Chokhmah begins. And because it's a thing, by definition includes many things.
By definition it includes what?
Many things. All things. I have one more minute, just very quickly, something which was constantly outside my mind. I have to bring it out. I don't know where we're going to start now, but just since we're into this, just one nakuda. We pointed out that human being is extremely versatile. A human being is capable of everything, as a matter of fact, everything. He can stay in one place, he can move indefinitely. He can reach the stars, everything. This everything, and then this everything is in the human being is not only a mind thing, not only in his chokhmah, but practically speaking, he has hands, he has feet that can carry him any place. He has hands that can produce unlimited variety. With his 10 fingers, he can produce miracles. All that is a representative of the nefesh. Captured by Chochmah. Chochmah takes the nefesh and says, oh, this is a thing, and from this and this thing, if you start deciphering this thing, you have all of these things. And you'll never end deciphering what this thing has. It has the nefesh in the world. What's a nefesh in the world? Show me the end of it. Like I said in the class, right? He can build a house. A house? What's a house? A house is a nefesh concept. He can produce a house that's completely out of this world. And it's a house, and it represents a person, and it relates to it. Down there's a circle liner around Manhattan, and in one place where he passes by, when that's on the bridge or wherever it is, there is a house there, and it has, I don't know, 10 stories, 10 floors, I don't know how many. And that house, they call it as an upside down house. The top floor near the bridge is called floor number 1, and then floor down is called floor number 2, and all the way down to the ground is floor number 10. A human being can relate to that also, an upside down house. Where I'm starting, that's the ground floor. I don't know, but you're on top of the bridge, so that's the ground floor. That's where I reach. All right, now we're going to interrupt for that. I guess tomorrow we can already start. You bring me into very after tomorrow. Okay, so have a good day. Cool. Thank you.